It's the Samwich. The Samwich is here.
We're on with the Samwich.
Woo!
What is up, Tots? You're with Samo.
And Sam Pruitt.
And you're with A Tale of Two Sams. Sorry, Sam, I jumped ahead of you on that one. I couldn't wait for you. I just couldn't do it this week.
That's okay. Sometimes you need to just sing solo, and that's fine.
I never sang on the podcast. Well, maybe I have, but But I probably shouldn't sing because today we have a very exciting guest that's going to be in our sandwich who would absolutely put me to shame with my singing. So, Sam, do you want to give a little background on her?
Yes, so she is an artist, specifically a singer, an actress, a social activist for the trans community, a musician, a model. Obviously has nothing going on, really slow, not busy at all.
Yeah, so she has so much time to be on our podcast.
She has a lot of free time on her hands.
Yeah.
This interview was amazing. She's an all-around classy bad bitch. We are so excited to have you guys listen to all she had to say. She's such a proud voice for transgender women. She's also super outspoken on why she left the Mormon community, which we are going to have her on another episode to dive more into that. Mm-hmm. You may know her from the MTV shows The Real World and The Challenge, and she actually was on a drama series called Stranger Hearts as well. So this bitch shows it all, and we are so excited to have her. Please welcome Amo Elizabeth.
Hi, my name is Amo Elizabeth. I am an artist, actress, and activist. Originally, I was in New York City. Now I'm in Nashville, and I am so excited to be here.
I feel like you're living out my dream. I just want to live in Nashville like it's nobody's business. Are you loving it?
It has its pros and its perils. Are y'all based in New York?
Yeah.
We are.
New York City, yeah.
I miss New York so much. I was actually,
visit us.
I had a photo shoot this morning, and the photographer was a New Yorker turned LA person, which I know is like unforgivable as a New Yorker. I figured I would make the transition a little easier, and I would take a pit stop in Nashville and then eventually make my way over to Los Angeles. The big reason being is that, like, and this photographer described it so perfectly, that I feel like New York is like a really abusive relationship where the sex is incredible. You know, like you have these like moments of just like romance and pure magic and incredible orgasms where you're just like, this is it. This is where I should be. Right. And then the guy like hits your mailbox with a bat. And you're like,
This is the most accurate thing I've literally ever heard, and I can't believe we didn't think of it sooner. That is the most accurate
thing.
It's
so true. It's so true. I mean,
you can't leave it. Yeah, like
you want to leave, but you just can't.
Yeah, and your mom's like, get out of there. Get out.
Yeah.
Like, I love him. Or them.
I love it so much. That's amazing comparison. Wow.
What a profound realization.
New York has to be a man, though, because I have never met a woman or a non-binary person that was just that like emotionally explosive.
Yeah.
That outrageous. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Wait, so now when did you move down to Nashville?
I moved here 2.5 years ago with my, at the time, ex-wife. We have since divorced, and now they are identifying as non-binary.
Oh, interesting.
So did you like encourage that, or what? How did that?
No, they actually were really against me transitioning, which is what contributed to our divorce. They saw my burgeoning femininity as a direct threat to their existing womanhood. And they were like always comparing our bodies and like the way that we dressed and the way that we did our makeup and our hair. I'm like pretty effeminate, which is not the walk for all women. We see that, we understand that, we can make space for that. But I think that they really struggled being a less effeminate woman with me being a more effeminate woman. But also, you know, like when we play by more of the rules of our gender, which, you know, like I've broken the cardinal rule of gender, which is transitioning. But all that to say, you know, I do recognize that my experience as a woman is oftentimes validated more often than it is with some of my other like trans or non-binary friends, which is unfortunate because I play by the rules more often than not of femininity. And that's not an act. Like I just enjoy being effeminate.
Exactly.
But you know, being effeminate and being a woman are not the same thing. And unfortunately, our society often confuses that.
Right.
Absolutely.
I do feel that like you have been such an advocate, you know, using your social platforms and such for really just everyone. Like I'm sitting there as not a trans woman and I'm reading first of all, you're an incredible writer. I could literally, I think the last 48 hours.
Incredible. You should write a book.
Scrolling. Can I hire
You should
you to like
absolutely
write
write
my
a book.
biography?
Oh,
You're
thank
incredible.
you. I'm working on a book right now called Half Truths. And the only reason I'm calling it that and I'm publishing it as a fiction novel is so that I don't get sued by all the exes I talk about in it.
Oh my gosh. I think that would be incredible.
Can we get sued for this podcast? Shit. I talk about my exes all the time.
Well, we have.
I won't name any albums of any of my exes.
There you go. Perfect. But
we actually say
with some horrible and famous people.
Oh my God. Yep. They usually are horrible if they're famous.
Seriously. It's like they're like
hand in hand.
Yup. Oh my gosh.
Especially men. If you give men any drop of privilege more so than they already have, it's their bat, you know, and they're right there back at your mailbox.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like, and I don't want, I guess this is going to come off sexist, but it's just, how is it not a coincidence that all the sexual predators in the industry are guys?
Yeah.
I just feel like I haven't heard anywhere it's been a woman. I don't know.
Right.
It's really
entitlement.
I mean, with everything that we have to do as women, can you imagine us trying to balance being sexual predators on top of it?
No. Who has time for that? Who has time?
Men.
We're busy. We're too busy. But yeah, so
I know we're out here like, I got to focus on my career and our relationship and keeping our house together. And also on top of that, like I'm trying to navigate all of the intricacies of womanhood in a world that treats me like a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
And men are like, I had to wake up, maybe put on deodorant, go to the job that was handed to me, come home, fart on your couch, and maybe perform oral.
Yeah, like oral. What'd you say? I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I know.
On a good day.
I met a bunch of girlfriends at brunch the other day, and one of the women was like, we were, you know, at a quarantined brunch, like we all had masks. And we were sitting, it was in someone's yard.
Right.
And this girlfriend of mine, we were talking about these like socially distant dates we've been on, which it's like, how much worse can this shit get?
Yeah.
And
terrible.
She was like talking about this guy, and she's like, and we slept together, and everyone was like, ooh, and she was like, and he went down on me, and everyone was like, he's a keeper.
Oh my God,
and
marry him.
I'm like, is that the standard? Like,
yeah.
Yup. It's just like, like it's like a surprise. Dude,
but then they trick us now because those like I eat pussy identifiers, like photos of him at a protest, photos of him with his mom.
Like,
like,
we're on.
But you know, it's like him in like a flat brimmed hat with a bunch of other white men. You're like, there's no shot in hell with this guy.
Oh, the best is holding a fish. They love to hold a fish. Like, I caught this. I'm just like, okay.
You know, if they're holding a fish, that they're never gonna touch yours.
Oh my God, you're killing me today. I needed this so badly.
No, I needed it so much. Do you ever have those days? Like, I mean, we saw Amo have a little bit of a day just now with her wire and charger and everything. But
I know,
like, you know, I've been having just one of those days where like I cannot catch my breath. do you ever like have those weeks and days? And I feel like it's been every like other like week is like this type of week for me. And I just think that quarantine has genuinely made me feel like slower. Like I want to like be
Oh yeah, it's
fast
been
again.
exhausting.
I'm not a real New Yorker anymore. I like relax sometimes. It's bizarre. Like
Yeah, living
Yeah.
in Nashville, I mean, makes it a little easier to relax, but then that's really only at home because, you know, for me especially, like anytime I walk out of my house, I have to worry about A, either being recognized by a fan, B, being, you know, like attacked or hurt in public, and then C, you know, like I'm just always on my guard, because there are so few visible trans people in the South comparative to New York.
Oh,
You know,
I actually was going to bring that up to you. If you could just talk a little bit more about that, because New York City
yeah.
is the most accepting place probably in the United States. It's so forward thinking. And
that's where I was going
now,
with asking you where, like, when you moved down there, you know, because it's just, I don't know if it's ever going to change really the South, but I know that it's definitely not these days, you know, it's still in such slow progression. Have you felt a difference between New York and Nashville? Have you always felt that you experienced something?
I mean, yeah, like I certainly get misgendered more often here, which is difficult. I also have people, I mean, and this happens, I think, in New York just by nature of being a woman, but here it does feel a little more charged when like people follow me around in grocery stores or at parks.
interesting.
Like a lot of men just like will follow me for like long periods of time. Which
Like you're not like a science project. Like
Right,
what?
like
Like
you're
why are
not
they
like
following
well,
you?
no,
Like why are
I
they?
think it's more so because they want to sleep with me. I mean, like no, I'm
Oh.
being serious.
Well,
Like,
that's probably something also that, because again, like these, I feel like a lot of men, especially in the South, are raised to not be open to any of that. So then when they find themselves attracted to a transgender woman, like for them, that's probably something that they've never experienced before, and almost like, yeah, like intriguing to them, like almost
yeah,
like,
I mean, I think it is that, but I think even more so than that, I think we would be surprised by how many men look at transgender porn
oh, for sure.
on the internet, and I think that, like, I mean, to be quite honest, if I am like signed into my dating apps, I probably get 100 messages a day cross platforms.
Well, you're also just like hot.
I mean, you
So,
are gorgeous.
Yeah, I have the privilege of like commercial beauty.
yeah, absolutely.
But beyond that, I think there really is kind of like a disparity between what society tells men they can want and what they want. And that's why
Absolutely.
I think like we see like women like me, which is marginalized women. And I say that to kind of like broaden the pool outside of just being transgender, because I think that's inclusive of women of color and also women who have like diversity of body types, which, you know, a trans body is a diverse body type. I think that we tell men, you know, that they're only allowed to like be attracted to two types of women, and that's Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid. You can like blondes and you can like some brunettes. And they have to be cis, and they have to be slender, and not just slender, but like emaciated, but somehow also have huge asses and tits. And
Yeah.
more than anything, they have to be white. And that's where like I do have, as we were talking about some of this like commercial appeal, I'm a white woman. I'm a white trans woman, but I'm a white woman. That gives me a lot of privilege. But as I talk to like women of diverse body types, skin colors, and gender experiences, what's so interesting is that so many of us online are approached sometimes as much, if not more often, than our more palatable countertypes or counterparts. But then in bars, that experience is not replicated, which I think is really interesting because it shows, if you look at it statistically, that while men are interested in us, it's the way that society makes them feel about that interest that is deterring them from being attracted to us in public spaces. One of the things that I think is so difficult about being trans specifically is the fact that, like, I feel at least like I have to safeguard and protect and explain my existence all the time, even when it's not necessarily warranted, because, you know, when I'm out in public, even if I'm out with like my girlfriends and like we're at a table away from everybody else, being at the intersection of being like visibly transgender, beautiful, and also a public figure just creates chaos. Like, even if I'm with the most relaxed, accepting crowd of people, I can almost guarantee that at some point, someone is going to come over and say something or do something that is scary, violent, or inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just never, I mean, speaking as a woman, just in general, it's never easy. You know, you're constantly on your toes, ready to tell someone off at a bar, and I just can't imagine adding any other factors to just that. So I mean, I give you like the utmost amount of credit, and you know, and it is never easy to stand up for what you believe in is right. And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but you've done that a lot through like your social platforms. And I find it, like I was saying, like I loved obviously reading all your captions and everything. I think you're an incredible writer, but I also have just been like so amazed by, you do the swipe through where you do the edited versus not edited versus filtered. And I am like obsessed with that. Like I want to, like, I do not have the balls to post something that is not, you know, edited or anything. And I'm just like so amazed by like how, like, you know, how powerful that was, like just for me to see. And just how, you know, looking at someone as beautiful as you, I'm saying, oh, why would they edit their photos? And I'm sure somebody else is looking at me saying, why would she edit her photos? You know, because everyone sees beauty in different ways. But when I saw that, I was just like, wow, like something is like, you know, you were saying in one of your photos about your jawline. I have done, you know, work on my face to get a jawline, you know, and you're trying to take that back. So it's just so, it's very interesting and very
Empowering.
real and empowering to see that, like, on, so like,
Thank you.
from us to you.
What was so, thank you. What was so interesting about that too is after I published that video, Instagram took away my creator capabilities, which was such an interesting thing to explore, because it wasn't editing my photos that penalized me. It was revealing that I edited my photos, which, as you two know, any woman who is front facing in any part of the entertainment industry is doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like anyone who's listening to this, if you know a woman who is in this industry, she is likely editing her photos. And so then Instagram took away my ability to capitalize on paid partnerships because I revealed that I was editing my photos, which is like,
that is
frustrating in a lot of ways, because it is subconsciously perpetuating this idea that we need to look perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I follow these two women. One is Danae Mercer, and then the other is Charlie Craggs. Danae is a cis woman. Charlie is a trans woman. They're both incredible activists and advocates for like natural women's beauty. But they do these videos all the time where they're like, this is who I am. This is what I look like. I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. And one of the things I told myself I wanted to be more transparent about this year was just like letting people know what I look like. I mean, and that's such a like a complicated and shitty thing to have to sort through as a woman. Like, you're like, oh, I feel so brave because I'm like showing people what I look like.
Literally, like you should, we want like a trophy for being our true, natural, no makeup self. Like, it's crazy that's even like, it's crazy that we're like admiring that, and that it's not just normal. Do you know what I mean? Like how it's not just
Exactly.
like, yeah. And I think, I mean, just especially for like all the younger girls and young women that are going through the same type of struggle that you went through, or that feel like they are trans and are scared. It's like all they see is like these perfect edited pictures, flawless. It's like ingraining that in your head is just not healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
we spoke about it a little bit last week too, and it's just it always it always blows my mind to think about how kids feel on the internet these days, and then never mind anybody that's going through anything, any sort of, I mean, really anything of just growing up, like, you know, and adding on the internet and how perfect that, you know, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Look how good this
It's
is.
interesting
Look at the photo.
too.
Amo looks.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because the way that we identify transgender people is by their body or gender dysmorphia. And if you look at the way that we talk about women who have eating disorders, it's the same language. Like if you have an eating disorder, you're experiencing body dysmorphia. And so I think that that's where we have like this opportunity to have a more universal conversation about the pressure that we're putting on people, but most specifically women, be they cis and trans, to fit this kind of standard of beauty. I have this girlfriend who is a professional model. I mean, she is so beautiful, it's like uncomfortable at times. And we were in the car. We were in the car several weeks ago, and we were talking, and she was talking about this procedure that she wanted to have done, and it was $15,000, and they would suck all of the additional body fat out of her limbs so that she had a thigh gap, she had like her arms were slimmer, and then putting it in her breasts and in her buttocks. And in her mind, this was how she could get ahead professionally. And she's like going on and perseverating about the necessity of getting this procedure done. And then she stopped and she looked at me and she said, I feel like I'm being insensitive right now. I'm talking about measuring my body against the standard of beauty for cis women, not even considering what the standard of beauty must be for you as a trans woman. And she goes, what is the standard of beauty for a trans woman? And I said, well, that's where it gets complicated, because the standard of beauty for a trans woman is the same standard of beauty for a cis woman, which is what makes it so much more difficult for us to acclimate in society. You know, like me being assigned male at birth and then not starting to medically transition or hormonally transition until my mid-20s. There are a lot of artifacts on my body that are a product of male puberty. And those things can only be absolved by really expensive surgery. And when we look at people like Caitlyn Jenner, who like emerged as like this kind of trans hero of the mid 2000s, it's actually perpetuating an unhealthy standard of beauty for both cis and trans women, because Caitlyn Jenner had reportedly $1.5 million worth of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah.
That's inaccessible for all women.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to look really critically at the way that we are celebrating women's bodies of all shapes, sizes, gender orientations, and ethnicities, because the second that we say this is the ideal body type, what we're really saying is everybody that doesn't meet the standard is not valid.
Yeah. And I also think it's really crazy just how it changes through decades. Like in the 90s, it was like no butt, no boobs. Everyone's just like little toothpicks. Now we move to like Kim Kardashian era where it's like boobs and butt and curves.
But
it's
still
just like
a six-pack somehow. It's ludicrous.
It's so ridiculous. Unless you have thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And so it's like, what I would like to see in the world is us celebrating more, because I think we're starting to, but celebrating more, or celebrating on the level that we do this certain, like this kind of Kim Kardashian or Victoria's Secret model body. I want to see celebrations of bodies that are different, bodies that are subversive, bodies that are diverse. But most of all, just bodies. Like, I want
Yeah.
to see all kinds of bodies.
Did you see
Because
Rihanna's Fenty fashion show on Amazon? Because I thought
I
that was
love
like,
it.
that was beautiful.
I didn't get to watch
That was
it.
like a bunch of different, every type of woman was up there, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
Rihanna rocks.
Yeah.
Rihanna's the best.
She rocks.
So I really want to ask you though about your new album,
Yes.
because
Oh my God, thank you.
this like dropped like a half hour before we were gonna record, and I'm like, oh my God, she did this for us. Like, it's so for us.
I know, you guys get the first scoop. Yeah, so I am releasing an album called The World's First Transgender Country Starlet. And
That's amazing, first of all.
Yeah, what a name.
That
Thank you.
title.
Yeah, I had a bunch of my mentors who, of course, are all like cis, white, straight men. And they were like, we should just, you know, kind of let people hear the music and then they can figure out that you're trans. And I'm like, no. Let's just put it out there, because my music is and the music on this album is about consent. You know, I'm a victim of sexual assault, so I talk a lot about consent in my music. I did sex work for lots of years in New York, so my music explores a lot of like the nature of sex work and why that is like such an important part of both our social economy and also how we like protect and maintain healthy systems of sexuality.
So just a quick side note, I think I would love to have you on again just to speak about that you just dropped two like big bombs on us.
These are things you can't read on, you know, on the internet. You know, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. What
No,
inspired?
you're fine.
So those are two inspiring factors. What else?
And then it also explores my experience just being a woman and also being a trans woman, because what I am trying to accomplish with the music is showing what unites us, what makes us similar instead of what makes us different. I think that the way that the patriarchy continues to bring us down as a gender, as women, is by dividing us. And I think that when we are finally able to stand together hand in hand, they'll realize that there are more of us than there are more of them. And that's when we can have real equality and real change.
Yeah, that sounds really beautiful. And I'm so excited to listen.
Yeah, because I've enjoyed checking out your older music, you know, your Macy. And when you said about consent, I'm just sitting here going, oh, wait, it's not going to be like about like, you know, like touching a girl when you want to touch her and like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's like about time, damn it. Like,
Thank you. Yeah, one of the songs is called Give It Away. And the bridge is, and when it comes to good sex, listen for the S, that R-E-S-P-E-C-T, you know it means respect.
Yes.
Love is something you get, you give it away.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God,
I love the preview.
I love.
Oh my
I cannot
God.
wait. And are you going to be like doing any shows or anything? Obviously, once, you know, things, I don't know what it's like.
I mean, like, I'm really at the point now where I'm kind of like just gonna let it happen. I've got some people that are gonna help me get the project on some stages and on some streaming platforms. And then we're just kind of going to roll the dice. I'm a big believer in grassroots music and projects. So I figure if it's something people like, I'll continue to perform it, and then I'll have the opportunity to make more.
That's amazing.
Sounds
when
like a solid
come to
plan.
Nashville, I just want like a private like show, like just like you know, just singing to me, serenading me.
Well, private shows start at $250. You can ask any of my Johns.
Ooh.
I love the open, you know, just, you know, you're like, here's the deal. And I'm sorry, my dog's barking in the background. She like loves barking during my interviews. It's the worst.
She heard you singing. That's why she's barking. She's like, yes.
Take the bitch to know one.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, it's so hard to be able to say, no, that's wrong. This is right. And you're inspiring so many, including us. So we're, you know, We are with
Thank
you,
very much.
and we love you. We're your biggest fans
Thank
now.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I
I will
love
see
this.
you guys on the next episode. And,
Yes,
Thank you
please.
for having me for this one.
Of course.
Yes.
That was incredible. So if you'd like to follow her, you can follow her for her transgender advocacy, her beauty and realness, and or just to stay up to date when her new Flawless album will be released, which we just got a sneak preview of. I don't know if you guys heard. So I highly recommend you follow her, and you can follow her on Instagram and Twitter at Love is the Amo, AMMO. Love, I hope you know how to spell, is, hope you also know how to spell, the, really guys, Amo, AMMO. And if you'd like to follow us, you can follow us at, on Instagram.
That's the 20th time we've done this, you guys. You can follow us on Instagram at A Tale of Two Sams Podcast.
And on Twitter
At A Tale of Two Oh, God.
Fuck up.
This is so funny. We're just using it. Let's fucking go.
Yep. Tale of Two Sams.
At gmail.com is where you can email us. If you understood everything we said, subscribe.
You understand everything we said. Blink once. All right. Bye, guys.